Christmas brought so much joy, couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am, but right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Hello, Star Wars fans. You know, there's 279 days until Christmas 2025. And here we are today to talk about some Star Wars. I hope that we have some fun today. I've got a topic planned at the end of the show. First half of the show, we'll do sort of normal stuff. But the second half, today, we're going to open up for call-ins. So if you're one of our patrons or one of our YouTube members and you haven't seen yet, I have posted a link to YouTube for members only and for patrons, for our patrons only, to join today's show. There's a link in there. You could do that. Also posted it in Discord for anybody who is participating there within the members only channel. So there's that. So you guys, thank you for being here. You know, last week I had to cancel my live stream. Most of you know why. My wife has been diagnosed with very early stage breast cancer. So she is, we still have a lot of tests to be run. We have surgeries to be scheduled, but there's some really good news is that it's caught really, really early. It's very small. And by all results, it looks like very treatable, very low concern of even having new cancer show up once this is treated. So lots of good news. I know many of you have dealt with similar issues. My mom had breast cancer, also a breast cancer survivor. She died later in life from different causes, sepsis related to a surgery. But other than that, I know that many of you are cancer survivors. Many of you have dealt with cancer in your personal lives in much more severe terms than we're dealing with. So just know that I'm here with you all and appreciate you all being here with me. So today, hello, we see we've got Skywalker's Academy. Good to see you. Thank the maker. Star Wars Fits. He's out on the road traveling. Good to see you as well. Brandon Alvarez, thank you for being here today. And let's see, who else has joined us here? Ducky Momo. Kidding. Oh, wait, my screen just flickered. I had you guys there, and then it moved you. So let me find you again. And there you are. It says Fitz getting the band hammer dropped on him by Skywalker. Oh, that's funny. Dale out there dropping the hammer on people. You give a man a little bit of power, and you see what they do. You give them just a little bit of power. That's all they need. And then, oh wait, Brandon. It was Brandon got the band hammer. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Ducky Momo. Nick, hello. Thank you very much. I appreciate the concern. Hey, we're going to start with a note here. I have a box to open. And this came to my public mailbox. You can find that address different places. Dale says, I just deleted all his messages. Not a ban. Yeah, that newfound power. So anyway, we're going to open this. We're going to see what's in here. I'm pretty excited about it. I kind of know what's in here already. This came from Hasbro. Picked it up last week and been looking forward, or actually picked it up early this week. And I look forward to sharing it with all of you. I'm a vintage collector of, I've kind of reduced my scope to just those things that are within the Mandalorian space. So this is a Mandalorian vintage collection figure. Just another quick note. My brain is jumping around a little bit. On Monday, this coming Monday, for all of our YouTube members and our patrons, we try to give you value for supporting this channel. You guys, as a lot of folks say, keep the lights on here. You guys help drive this, what we do here. And are you the Star Wars Santa from a guy who loves Star Wars? Yes. One and the same. Yes, I found Mike some time ago and supporting him. I love his channel as well. So we try to do things to help benefit our members and patrons by having monthly Zoom calls where you can call in. Sometimes I can spill some tea, things that I know that I can't say on stream. I'm not a leaker. I'm not one of the people who report those things. I have friends who are. Of course, Bespin Bulletin and my good friend Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. And many of you have been asking about Jason. I've been chatting with Jason this week. He is a busy man. Things are going well for him. So Jason and I are still very good friends. We're still in very close communication. So anybody worried about Jason, he's doing okay. He's just a busy guy. And so I'm not a leaker. I don't like to, I don't want to dabble in that space. However, I learn things as a YouTube content creator within Star Wars space. I've met some folks. I've formed some relationships with folks, and some of those folks know things that they share with me from time to time. So I've heard some things. So every now and then I share a little bit of tea on our Zoom meetings. Nothing I'll share publicly. And what we share in Zoom stays in Zoom, right? It doesn't make its way out. So if you guys would like to participate in our March members only, that'll be on Monday. Monday we will. Yes, Anthony is the one who said Dale ought to have this power. Now Dale has the power. You look what he did, right? So Monday we'll do a members only stream, and you guys can, or a Zoom meeting, and you guys call in. I have a little bit of tea. It's not much. Just a little bit of tea I can share with you all there. And it's topical. It's current. And likewise, what we're doing today with the call-ins later, that's for our members and our patrons. And then on Patreon, we have other things. There are lots of videos. There's over 100 videos out there that you can watch. And then you could also participate by having what we call like an unlimited super chat feature. There's a post out there. If you want a question or a topic discussed, you post it in that super chat, unlimited super chat discussion thread. If it's appropriate and topical, I will bring it up here on the live stream and we will discuss it, or we'll schedule a show to discuss just the thing that you ask about. So keeping my eye on that. So here we go. We've got this box to open. I'm excited to open it because I know two things. One, it's a vintage collection figure. Second, I know that it's Mandalorian related. And we're going to talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu. A story came out this week that the budget on that thing was quite affordable. So we're going to talk about that. I think there's been a problem. He says, I wonder why you're called Star Wars Santa. I don't know. It was random. I love to. No, I'm a professional Santa Claus. All right. So I do that during the Christmas season and also throughout the year. So we've got this vintage collection figure. And we're going to open here. And then we're going to talk about the Mandalorian Grogu in just a bit. So let's open this up. We've got this wrapping. So something that Hasbro's been doing lately is when they pack the figures, they wrap it in this almost a cardboard, but heavy kind of paper wrap. And this wrap, Peanut hates. She hates it. You can hear her back there beeping, but she absolutely hates this stuff. It scares her. So she's not going to come visit while I've got this. But we'll take this. We'll set it to the side, and she'll be watching that. She's like, I don't like it. All right. So here we go. For you, we've got this. We've got right here IG-12 Grogu and Zelen. So there you go. You can see it's a Mandalorian IG-12 with Grogu right there at the top, and an Anzellan right there at the top. IG-12's got his rifle blaster, and right inside is where Grogu rides and pushes the yes/no button. Yes, 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 yes. Right? No, no, no. So here we go. It's VC 358 IG-12 Grogu and Zelen vintage collection. This is for my collection, so I am going to open it, and so we'll take a look at this figure here. I'll get it out of the box so you guys can see. And I always use this just to. I keep the cards. I like to preserve them as much as possible. So try to be careful in cutting the bubble off the front so that it keeps that wrap or the card from tearing. So let me see. I almost got it. Almost. We got to give it just a little bit more. There we go. Oh, still got a spot caught down here. Let's get that before it tears. Yeah, Peanut, the answer machine. Yeah, she's back there making all kinds of noise. She knows I'm talking to you guys, so she's going to make all the noise she can. So there we go. We have freed the IG-12 and Grogu and Anzellan from the card, and we'll take the trash. It's just a standard thing. We'll throw that away. And then we'll get in the pack here. We'll lift the top off, and I'll open this for you all here. So there you go. You can see a little bit clearer. And when I get it inside, I've got a teleprompter right here, and so if I get it too close, it gets within the shadow of the teleprompter. You can't read it. So it's right here. So there's Grogu, our Anzellan friend. Let's see. I think they're just popped in here. Yeah, we can take Grogu out now. One thing about this, every figure. It seems they try to figure out some reason to put Grogu in. I don't know how many Grogus. I can see there's one right there, two, right, three over here. Plus we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 back there. So I've got 7, 8. I've got 8 Grogus now. This guy's going to go inside the IG-12 here, and then and I've got almost as many Din Djarins as I've got Grogus. They love to sell those Din Djarins repackaged. Anzellans, love Anzellans. One of the greatest things to come out of the sequel trilogy. These little Anzellans, fixed C-3PO. But then we got them all over in Mandalorian as well. I got our little Anzellan friend there, and let's go ahead and get IG-12. Now, the IG-11 figure that came out a good while ago, I think is one of the best figures from a vintage collection perspective that we've ever had, and certainly this IG-12 built on that same frame, just got a little bit different situation on the inside. Grogu used him a bit as a mech, right? So Grogu could go around, have control there with the joysticks and lead IG-12 around. So we've got IG-12 here. It's fantastic. You've got a little ball joint here, so you can take this arm and rotate it almost anywhere you want. So you've got a ball joint there. You got a nice joint here in the middle where you can. Hold on a second. I got old eyes. I got really old eyes. We're gonna open it. Here we go. Santa needs to see when you're dealing with close-up stuff. I can't see anymore, folks. I had LASIK surgery done several years ago, and that certainly helped. But now when it get really close-up stuff, I can't see worth anything. So here you go. We've got a joint right here, and of course you can pivot this hand around anywhere you want, right? That claw there. We've got another one over here. Works the same way. We've got a little joint right in the middle. You got to line that turkey up. So you get that lined up. You can open it. You can do that right there. So it says, sounds like you have enough Grogu's for an army of Christmas elves. We'll go with the sleigh being pulled by blurgs. You know, I did a little animation. That's a bit of a stretch to say animation. I did a thing with Santa's sleigh being pulled by blurgs before. I did a really poor job of it, but anyway, yeah. So we've got his feet there, and now because we've got the controller in there, right? So you can see the yes no buttons. We can put Grogu. We can take our Grogu friend here and slide him right down into that chest cavity. He goes right in here. We got to get in there, Grogu. Right, push him down in there just a little bit, and you can see his hands will go right to those knobs. Actually, it's not doing a good job of grabbing the. Hold on, get all the way in. There you go. Once you got to stuff him down in there. Once you get him in, then his hands absolutely do line up to those knobs. Let's see if you guys can make that out there. So there you go. How about that? Grogu in the IG-12 going around, and we got our rifle here. So we can have our IG-12 armed and dangerous. Let's get him to grab hold of this rifle here. Get that finger in there. It's not really a finger, is it? It's what would you call it? Right? It's his grabbing. Let's see. Get that inside the trigger hole there. Get his like the thumb of this figure right in there. I'll get that in there. All right, here we go. So there we go. Let's see. IG, you got it? You got it? He does. He's got it. Oh, turn it just a little bit. There we go. IG, he's got the weapon. I don't like quite how he's holding that. I gotta finagle it just a little more. Get it where he's like, where he could actually shoot somebody with it. Right? He's still kind of haywire there. But you got the idea. So we got our IG-12. Hey, what do you suppose in the Mando-Grogu movie? IG-12 going to be in there? Huh? We're going to see IG-12 with Grogu still riding around in his mech deal, right? Do you think that's in the cards, or do you think Grogu's going to mature past using that? There is some news on that front. I know some things as it relates to IG-12 and the movie and the future of IG-12 as it goes forward in the Mandoverse. So good fun. I'm still struggling. I'm going to have to wrestle with this hand to see if I can figure out how to get that to hold on there a little better, right? I would really like it to be more lined up to like fire. And it just got to wrestle it. Hold on a second, Gary. I think I can get it. I think I see a way. Let's see. Let's get this in there. I think I see a way to get that nice and secured. Get that. You gotta be able to shoot it there, IG. Right? You gotta be able to get your finger in there to shoot that thing. Right? There you go. Here. You gotta wrestle. Right? Wrestle it. Wrestle it. There we go. Look at that. Oh, he's armed and dangerous now. There you go. I love it. So IG-12 right there. And, this thing's great. It's articulated everywhere. You can turn this all around. You can do all the things. It's fantastic. All right. So there you go. IG-12 with Grogu. And as a bonus, my very first Anzellan. There you go, right there. This little guy. Boy, he's tiny. Oh, there he is. All right. So let's see. Seth here. I'm pretty satisfied with my Mando TBS shelf. Unless they make Kelleran back. I'm waiting for Gideon and the Praetorian Guards to come out, and then I'm done until the movie. Excellent, Seth. That's great. Let's get to the story related to the Mandalorian. And look here, I was gonna show you guys. Look, no hands. And what happens? Oh, we move. There you go. We got a story from Bestman Bulletin. He says Mandalorian and Grogu budget revealed at $166 million. Now this isn't Mike Yaney. Hello, Mumbo Jimbo. Good to see you as well. Revealed at $166 million. Now, since then, I've seen some stories saying maybe this number isn't exactly right. This number's maybe good, but not great. And you got to realize with these things, they get all kinds of tax deferments and benefits. And in this case, that seems to be as well. Bestman writes, and let's see, can we make this a little bigger to make it easier to read? Bestman, he uses tiny font. Bestman uses the tiny font there. Bestman's alive. Indeed, he is. Says we're 14 months away from seeing the next Star Wars theatrical release. The Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau produced Mandalorian and Grogu, which is Favreau has directed. One question some readers often raise is, what's the budget? And today we seem to have the answer. 13 months ago, wrote an article how much funding the Mandalorian and Grogu would be receiving via California film and television tax credits, right? A healthy $21.7 million. So it also shared in the same time via articles and podcasts that the budget would be somewhat similar to the Disney Plus Star Wars series that were shot and produced in California. At the time, the highest budget project was Skeleton Crew at $136 million. So if Skeleton Crew is $136 million and this is $166, Bestman's right. He's right on the thing. It says, right, the latest documents reveal production budget. Now, again, this is production budget. Doesn't necessarily mean that's where the receipts are, right? And plus, then we've got all the stuff about promotions, advertising budget. All of that's going to certainly rise above the production budget. It says $166 million with tax credits included, meaning Disney Lucasfilm spent $144 million after the tax credit. So 166 is pre-tax credit. 144 once they get the tax credit. Pretty close to the budgets of the other Star Wars series. The movie is easily the cheapest of the Disney Star Wars films. And if you're a reader of this site, that would have been expected. As I mentioned earlier in the article, this flick was always set to have a similar budget to the series that was part of the appeal of making the movie. The Mandalorian Season 4 scripts were reshaped into a movie due to the cost effectiveness of the project. The delays on the other planned Star Wars movies, namely New Jedi Order, which was planned as the first theatrical release post Rise of Skywalker. So this is where my friends get me with the Rey delay thing. We'll get back to that. As Disney pivot from the streaming and back to the big screen. Now, one thing I just challenge a little bit, and if Bespin, if you're here, you can jump in. Be glad to talk to you about it. But when he mentions that the season 4 scripts were reshaped into a movie script, I don't know how close that is. Perhaps. And just one thing I would note is, and I've mentioned this before, it's just to help with all of you. That's right. Dale gets it. Skywalker's Academy. Rey on the way. We're going to get Rey content, as he says, eventually. Yeah, Fitz, you're on the train. Quit typing. All right. Fitz is over there in Ireland. And he gets around mostly by riding trains, so he's got thumbs to type. He's not driving. You don't have to worry about Fitz, being hazardous driving. He's just sitting on a train, poking the bear. That's all he's doing. Good to see you, Fitz. So this I've been trying to set some expectations with this movie to think of it more like an episode, not even a whole season. So what he says is the season 4 scripts were reshaped to a movie. I would put a little pause there on going that far. This movie is more like an episode, maybe 2 or 3. Like, we remember the Clone Wars animated series. A lot of times stories would be told in the process of 2 or 3 episodes. You get these 3-episode arcs for a story. Think of it more like that. Even within the Mandalorian, season 1, season 2, right? All of this, there would be these arcs. Sometimes with like the Frog Lady, it would go more than 1 episode before it resolved. Think of the same thing. Like, maybe it takes a couple episodes, and I would not think this is a whole season boiled and rewritten into an episode. Rather, think of an episode, maybe 2 or 3, that are blown up into a movie. That's where your head should be on it. This is a Mandalorian Grogu episode, essentially. It's a Mandalorian Grogu story arc. And then that is blown into a movie, right? Series? Season. It's more of an episode. Yeah, that's right. It's more of an episode blown up. So think of it that way, and you're going to be fine. It should be a lot of fun. This movie's going to be, it says, it's going to be exactly what the title says it's going to be. You're right. You're right. It's going to be exactly what it says it's going to be. Don't try to make it into more. There's a lot of speculation out there about who might show up in this movie, what this movie might do or might not do. Thrawn going to be in it? We're going to see the initiation of the heir to the Empire story arc. Are we going to see Bo-Katan? Are we going to see, who else? There's all kinds of rumors afloat. Oh, I saw another one that said Moff Gideon. I saw another one that said, what are some of the other threads out there? Are we gonna see Cobb Vanth? Are we gonna see our good friend Boba Fett? Are we gonna see all of these speculations? My friends, as Skywalker's Academy is saying, nope. Right? So scale back. Think of it more like that. Ducky says, unlike Fitz, I am driving, but not anymore. Unfortunately, that means I have to go back to work. Oh no, Ducky's got to go back to work. Thanks for stopping in, Ducky. Appreciate it. So think of it more in that category. And we'll just get back to Bestman's article. He says, what's he say? Cost effectiveness of the project. Now, cost effectiveness, this is a big issue. We've been talking about why some of these series have not been renewed for a second season. You can take The Acolyte. Love it, hate it. middle of the road, never watched it, whatever your case is, doesn't matter. The cost and the return on investment, the cost of the Acolyte, for example, has been largely reported, and that per episode cost was extremely high. Same thing for Andor, right? Really high budgets. Skeleton Crew, Ahsoka, Mandalorian. The budgets on a lot of these are way too high to justify continuing them as live action series. So one of my concerns about going forward, you may have loved the Acolyte, you may have loved the Skeleton Crew, you may love some other series, but the chance that they're going to get a second season is largely constrained by the ability to make money. All right. At the end of the day, it comes down to budgets and income, revenue, return on investment. And with streaming series, of course, that's a little difficult to take down to a specific project. Like, why are people buying their Disney Plus? Is it for the Moana 2? Is it for Mandalorian? Is it for the Marvel stuff? Is it maybe for some other reasons? Or maybe all of the above. And if that's the case, how do you then parse the dollars into any specific project to say, hey, we got the money back for that? Or we retained enough viewers to justify bringing in another one, so we keep them on as happy customers going forward, so that we are constantly giving them something new, right? Thank you so much, Sheev, my good friend. Thank you so much, Vader's Lair. Appreciate you stopping in to share the love and the prayers. Truly appreciate it. Thank you. Really good guy. Just fantastic guy. Big fan of Vader's Lair. Sheev, we had a bet. We had a bet a couple years ago that on whether we were going to see I was looking to see. We had a bet on whether we were going to see what's my friend, our blue bounty hunter guy. I just went blank on his name. Whether he was dead or not, whether he would die or not. Cad Bane. That's it. We had the famous Cad Bane bet, and I went ahead and took the L. Right, I took the L because I said Cad Bane would not die. Sheev said he's dead. He's dying. He's going to die. So when we had the little pew pew there, and Cad Bane, went to the ground, and then Boba Fett comes up and gives him a little jab. Is he dead or is he not dead? Well, he had the little beepy thing. If Cad Bane shows up again alive, then Sheev and I are going to have some words. He's going to have to pay back the bet. I had to live in Vader's Lair for an entire week. You know how uncomfortable it is to be on Mustafar for an entire week? It's no fun, I'm telling you. It's no fun. That flashing light's going to come back to haunt me. Yes. Yeah, I was miserable for an entire week living on Mustafar. You know how hot it is for Santa to be on Mustafar? It's not good. It's not good. That's all I got to say. So, but one of the problems they've had is justifying costs. And with the cost of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie being down, they have a good chance of making budget back at the box office. They just do the simple math. Normally, what you do is you take the all-in budget. So the production budget, the advertising budget, all the things. You add it together into one pool. Double it. So right now, they're to say 166 million, all right, for this, or you can say 150 million with the discounts, right? 144. Let's just split the difference. 150 million. Add in the Advertising can be between 50% of the original budget. So another 75 million on there, you could be at 225. Then you need to double it. Let's say 250. That's easier math, right? If it's 250 after advertising expenses, they got to make 500 million at box office to break even. Will The Mandalorian Grogu make more than 500 million in box office? That remains to be seen. Depends what kind of hype they can get built between now and then to have it happen. So we go back. It says delays on other planned Star Wars movies. Wait. Okay. As part of Disney's pivot from streaming to the big screen, another project morphed from a series into a movie was Moana 2. Now, that's true. The Moana series was already very deep into production when the change occurred. And though you can see the seams of it in the final project, the movie went on to gross over $1 billion. All right. Says he does not expect the Mando and Grogu to be near that, but doing math, they should be happy with anything more than 500 million. Exactly what I was saying, right? If they can get more than 500 million, they will have made money. Once it does that, once it makes money and they push it back to Disney Plus, like Moana too, right? Once it gets back to Disney Plus and people watch it there, you can justify more of the cost even there. Vader's Lair said, it makes a lot of sense. Spend Disney Plus money, maybe a bit more to make a movie. That's just as good as the whole season and just as good content, and make more money at the box office. Right, box office plus Disney Plus instead of just Disney Plus. Now, some people like me, I didn't go to see Moana 2 at the box office. I haven't even watched it on Disney Plus yet. Eventually I will, right? Just out of curiosity. Plus, as Santa, I get lots of kids that their favorite princess is Moana. So I got to watch and know what Moana did in the movie. So I could talk to those little kids about it, right? It says Disney decided to make budget smaller for the streamer and produce less live-action Star Wars and Marvel series for the service within focus, shifting to the big screen. Disney will be releasing 3 live-action Marvel series this year. Daredevil, Born Again. By the way, are you watching that? Are you watching Daredevil? I am, and I'm playing along with Nerd Mafia in his weekly predictions. You know what? I'm tied for the lead. I'm tied for first place. going for some Nerd Mafia merch. As long as I beat, and I watched the replay of this week's predictions, and boy, Nerd Mafia was so happy he beat me for once. He was ecstatic. He had such a good time. It says Ironheart and Wonder Man. Those are yet to come. Right? The reason for the 3 releases is mostly due to 2 of them being complete for some time, Ironheart and Wonder Man. But next year we'll see reduced output with only 2 live-action series. So Daredevil Season 2 and Vision Quest. Marvel will be releasing 3 movies. Avengers, Doomsday, Spider-Man 4, and an Untitled movie. On the Star Wars front, there's only 1 live-action series planned for this year, Andor, and Season 2, and Ahsoka next year. Right? 1 a year. The next announced live-action Star Wars release will arrive in December in the form of Sean Levy's Untitled film starring Ryan Gosling. Lots of debate about that. Is that movie going to involve Rey? Is she going to be part of the movie? Is she going to be part of the story arc? Does it take place in the post-sequel trilogy era within the lifespan of Rey Skywalker? So those are the questions we don't yet have full answers on. There's a Mandalorian Grogu panel set for Celebration next month. I'm very excited for that and for Celebration, by the way. Look here what I've got. Here's the countdown to Celebration. 27 days, 7 hours, and 0 minutes, 54 seconds. Oh boy, with just 27 days and 7 hours until Celebration. And then we could maybe get some more announcements, some more live action announcements, some movie announcements, updates. And boy, I really hope we get some animation announcements. How awesome would that be, right? Oh, that'd be great. It says it's unknown the trailer will be shown at an event released publicly, given the film's release is still 13 months away. Disney and Lucasfilm have shown off trailers at D23 exclusively for those in the room. Likely going to show them the same trailer at Celebration. Maybe touched up a bit, maybe with some additional information. But here you go. Thank you for reading. You can support Bespin on Ko-Fi, Patreon, and that. Please do. Please support our friend Bespin Bulletin. And look, just while I've got this up, Andor season 2 premiere. Just 31 days, 10 hours, and 19 minutes, 9, 8, 7 seconds. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. How excited are you for Andor season 2? How excited are you getting for Andor season 2? Have you done a rewatch of Andor season 1? I did. I did a rewatch of season 1. Most of it. I've got to rewatch the finale, but that's it. That's all I got left. I rewatched the whole thing. And let's see. Before I move on to our next topic, the topic that I invite you to come join the discussion in, right? Yeah, we're good. We're good. I did a rewatch. I was down here cleaning. Believe it or not, Peanut makes a mess. Boy, she is a messy bird. She forages. She throws seed all over the place, feathers, dust, everything. So I have to clean down here weekly. Last week I was down here cleaning, and I did a rewatch of The Force Awakens and Last Jedi. And while I was watching that, I got to thinking, what's something you could change in the sequel movies? Doesn't change the story, but makes the movie better. Right? So there's Vader's lair. So we watched the sequels a bit recently, and they'll have their day at some point, like the prequels. I agree. Maybe not as much, but definitely they will have their day. 100% Vader's lair. They will 100% have their day as people grow up with that as the last theatrical movies of the saga, and the ones that they saw with their parents. Regardless of what their parents thought, they'll have those memories to go on. But I got to thinking, what would I change in the movie? Doesn't change the outcome of the movie, doesn't change the trajectory of the story arc, but makes the movie better. And I was watching Force Awakens, for example. And by the way, now's the time. If you want to call in, you want to be part of the show, find those links. They're on Discord. It's in YouTube for members. And it's on Patreon. Find the links, join the show, tell me what you think, or just put it in the chat, or put it in Patreon, or I put it on Discord as well. And you guys can comment on the thread on the sequel trilogy. I created a thread for Force Awakens. One thing you could change, doesn't change the movie at all, makes it better. Han and Leia are still happily married. Han and Leia, happily married. Han is out working. Leia is working. They're doing their thing. Han is out on a mission and runs into Rey and Finn in the Falcon. He's got those Raftars. All the thing can still happen. And as I was watching it and thinking about this, I'm thinking, wait, what changes? What changes in the movie? What changes when they get back together on the base? They can run up more in a loving embrace rather than you changed your hair. Right? It could be better. And I think fans as a whole, just listening to some of the feedback, I'm a big sequel fan. I love the sequels. If they just change that one little thing, Han and Leia still in love, still married, and Leia still tells him, go save our son. And he goes to save the son. And you still have Ben, or Kylo, kill his father. All of that still happens. But some of the controversy around Han and Leia not being happily married anymore, some people are put off by that. I think making that one change makes the movie better for many people, right? Makes it, you will like the sequels. I love the sequels. I do. Let's see. What else do we have here in the comments? I saw Brandon put the one thing I would change, Luke, Leia, and Han reunited, have one more adventure together. Now, see, Brandon, I don't disagree with you. I think it would be great. But I blame George Lucas for that, because we could have done that instead of the prequels. He could have done a trilogy where the big three, right? Han, Luke, and Leia, they go on another big adventure following the original trilogy when we had all the actors in the prime of their lives, right? They're still the characters we knew. They're still within the age group. Sure, they're maybe 10 years older, 15 years older, whatever the case is. Had you gone into the sequels instead of going back to the prequels, while you still have your actors, that's the key, right? You need to do it while you still have your actors. I get that he wanted to go back and tell the story leading up, but your actors are getting older. And unfortunately, we lost Carrie Fisher between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. And having them go on an adventure together that late in life, you still have a problem with Carrie passing and not having her to complete the adventure. I would have loved that. And I think that is a big mistake George Lucas made. Had he gone and done the sequels, he still could have done the prequels, just do them later, right? Do the original, do the sequels, then go back and do the prequels at a later date. That would have been much better, right? Rey should have been a pilot for hire. There you go, Thronkill. Good idea. Rey's a pilot for hire. They're on why does everybody want to go back? Right? So she could have very well been a pilot for hire. That's how she makes her money there. Instead of being a scavenger out in the desert. She still could have had the same character, right? Compassion. Still could have had the same skills and ability. But if she's a pilot for hire, just maybe, doing small jobs, that could have been great. That could have been great. Really good idea, Thronkill. That's exactly what we're talking about, right? What kind of thing could you make a change like that? Dawn, hello, my friend. She says, have Rey whack some sense into Kylo about how lucky he had it. We'll get to Last Jedi here as well. Vader's lair. I would start nitpicking. So don't ask me to change anything. Can't just pick one thing. If I had to change one thing, yeah, it's a reunion of the originals. I think they could have arranged that in The Last Jedi. We're still talking about Force Awakens. I think they could have arranged that in The Last Jedi had they done it just a little bit differently, right? We'll talk about that next. Did you see there's gonna be another Hasbro stream on the 25th? I did, Seth. Next week, there's going to be another Hasbro stream. Are they ready to announce the next Star Wars HasLab? What will it be? Will it be Vintage Collection? Black Series? Black Series haven't done well in their HasLab, so maybe they've thought that out a little better, and they have a good Black Series HasLab. Fitz says, have Mara Jade instead of Rey. No, Fitz, you get back on the train. You be quiet. No. Kylo is a double agent for Luke. That's an interesting thought. Let me think about it. Let me take a drink here now. We'll get back to talk about The Last Jedi. All right. So that was my idea for The Force Awakens. And as I watched it out, I thought, they could have very well changed that. Last Jedi. There's one thing that I think offends a lot of people in The Last Jedi, and it's Luke taking that lightsaber and tossing it over his shoulder. Look at that. It looks, first of all, it looks dumb. It looks weird, right? When he does that, I don't like it at all, right? I don't like it. More in character with Luke is to take that lightsaber, have the chat with Rey about what do you expect me to do with this? Expect me to go back and defeat blah 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 blah, and just toss it to the side like he does with Vader when he turns off the lightsaber and he tosses it to the side in Return of the Jedi. What if he had done that instead of tossing it over his shoulder? Doesn't change the story at all, like at all. It's just a stylistic difference of how he gets rid of the lightsaber. Could have been great, better, not necessarily great, better. The other thing I would change in there is, and I think it's an editing mistake on Rian Johnson's part. He says, I'll give you 3 lessons, and then he gives her 2. You've got to go back and change it to be, I'll give you 2 lessons, or you got to put the 3rd lesson in. What's wrong with putting that 3rd lesson in? And you could have talked it out a little bit better and given her a little more information through those lessons. We could have spent a little more time doing that in lieu of the side mission. And I'm going to talk about this too, because The Last Jedi has another bit of a problem, and I've heard it discussed over and over again. Again, I'm a huge fan of The Last Jedi, huge fan of Force Awakens. I love the sequels, but it's the slow space chase, right? Do we really need the side mission where Finn and Rose go to the casino and they're looking for the code breaker while they're in a slow space chase? I don't think so. You still could have had the same outcome, but instead of a slow space chase, they could have gone into hyperspeed, right? They jump, they land in those other vehicles. They're like, whoa, how in the heck did they find us? Same plot, right? How'd they find us? I don't know, but we got to get on out of here. They talk to Maz. Maz says the code breaker, you maybe change it up a little bit where he's a slicer or something, where he puts in a bug into their system that breaks the tracking, right? They realize, oh, they're tracking us in hyperspace. Well, we got to get out of here. They hyperspace out. You don't have them shooting them down all the time. They hyperspace out. Then you can have Rose and Finn go to the casino player. They get the slicer. The slicer gives them the information. They come back to this rendezvous point where Crate is, right? You haven't had the slow space chase, and you arrive at that rendezvous point. Guess what? The new orders show up at the same time, right? So they show up at the same time because they're still chasing them, and then you have a little, scuffle as they try to get the bug into their code, and they're trying to get to Crate and all that. You could have had all that happen like faster, right? Could have been condensed into a single point instead of the slow space chase. You could still have the Holdo maneuver. You could still do that. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. You still could have done that. You could have avoided some of the other stuff. I still love the story where Poe learns a lesson. I love Poe learning the lesson. I wouldn't change too much around that because it's got to be, he needs to learn. If he's going to become a leader, he needs to learn some of these lessons. He's going from being a hotshot pilot to being a leader. So I'm okay with some of that. And it doesn't change the story. That's the thing. We make these changes. Last Jedi still plays out the way The Last Jedi plays out. But there's the thought, and I saw Vader's Lair commented on before, so I'm going to back up, and we'll get caught up. It says, one of the best moments in The Last Jedi is the force projection of Luke going to Leia on Crate. That scene is so powerful and feels forgotten amongst the hate of that movie. Amen, brother. I agree with you. And if you have Han killed in the first movie, Force Awakens, as we already discussed, how do you get the big three back together again? Right? I think the way you get them back together again is those scenes with Kylo Ren, again, become quite controversial in The Last Jedi, where, Luke tried to murder his kid. Attempted murder, not cool. All of those things. And look, there's a story arc there. We're not going to rehash all of that, but there's a story arc there where memories and what they're trying to tell Rey are different based on their own prejudicial view or recollection. You could have easily changed Luke's recollection to include them all being together. You could have had him telling Rey a little bit about Ben growing up. And you could have had Han, Luke, Leia, Ben, as he's maybe in his formative years, or maybe he's in his teen years where he's rebelling and being a butthead, right? He's being a teenage boy rebelling against his parents, and the three of them are there, and he's telling them, "No, you're idiots. You don't know," right? And there's the three of them are gathered together to say, "No, you're doing, blah blah blah." They could have had the whole thing like that about why Ben left and how hard they worked to keep him with the family, and how Snoke was having the effect on him that pulled him away. Still could have been the same thing, right? Just the flashback is different. You add the flashback, you get them all together, you show them all still bonded together as a close, right? Chewie could have been there, R2, 3PO. You could have had the whole gang back together and, intervening with this teenage boy who's rebelling. You still have everything else play out the way it plays out. Nothing changes. And you still get this fantastic moment. Yes. Joshua, hi. Do you think the new projects they announced for Star Wars Celebration, do you think we could get Kenobi Season 2? Joshua, I think we could. I just don't know that we will. Vader's Lair. Sheev, thank you for the super chat, my friend. So generous of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll get to it in just a moment. Amazing. You are a fantastic friend. I appreciate it. I do think there are several announcements that they could make at Celebration that I hope they make in Celebration. I just really don't know if they will. I thought they were going to do D23. I had some information saying they were going to announce these. There was a list of things, and they didn't announce them. I'm hoping that those list of things that I heard back on D23 will be announced here at Celebration. And for those of you who are going to attend the Zoom meeting on Monday, maybe we'll talk about some of that as well. Do you think in the next 5 to 7 years we can get episodes 10, 11, and 12? I know a trilogy is being planned. Joshua, here's the problem. So there's two ways to look at it, right? The saga, the Skywalker saga that started with young Anakin and completed with the Rise of Skywalker and Palpatine, right? Basically, it's the Palpatine era, right? The whole thing starts with Sheev as a senator, ends up him becoming chancellor, ends up the emperor, all the way through, right? And you get the Skywalkers versus Palpatine. And I'm oversimplifying, right? Oversimplifying. That saga is done. I want it to stay done. I don't want another rise of Sheev, right? And you could make the argument, well, Rey, she's a Palpatine, and maybe when she did that thing and they fought, and maybe he infected her, and she becomes the next emperor, empress, like the of their visions. No, I don't think so. I think that saga is complete, 1 through 9. Now, I think you could continue with the Skywalkers and being that's Rey, all right? She's Rey Skywalker, Palpatine's Rey, Palpatine Skywalker, whatever. You can continue with it being a new episode 1. But do I think we'll get 10, 11, and 12 in the next 5 to 7 years? Yes, I think that we will have a trilogy in the post-sequel era that from a certain point of view, could be labeled 10, 11, and 12. However, I think they'll be labeled 1, 2, and 3. That's what I think. $4, €4 from my friend Star Wars Fitz. Hello! Thank you so much for that, Fitz. Really good friend. I know he loves to poke the bear. He gives me a hard time all the time, but he's also been there for me this week. I've talked to him a couple times, and I've been a tremendous help in getting my microphone fixed and getting everything working. So thank you for that. He says, offer a cup of coffee. So I appreciate it, Fitz. Fantastic friend. Great guy. Possibly, let's see. But they're moving at slow rate. Yeah. Cool. I just got another subscriber. Oh my goodness. It still has no content. Oh, you're doing better than me, Dale. I'm losing subscribers every day. I always get notices. You lost 5 more. I'm like, great. Oh my goodness. Let's see. There's Dawn here. Brandon, I would change Last Jedi, not having Luke and die, and the opportunity Luke and Rey to be Master and Apprentice in Tross. Really good, Brandon. I love it. At the end, why have Luke absorbed into the Force the way that he did? I think you make a really good point that had he just, he expended all that energy, he could have been drained, like on that rock, watching the sunsets, tears, right, over what's going on. In the Rise of Skywalker, I don't know if you bring him in right away as Master and Apprentice, but he's still there. When Leia dies, because we lost Carrie, right? Luke is still there to help redeem his son. What a great story that would be, right? We saw, or not his son, his nephew. We saw Luke redeem his father, Anakin, right? Vader. We saw him redeem him. And we could have very well, the way that Kylo is redeemed in Tross, we could have had, instead of that being Leia reaching through the Force to help bring Kylo back, you could have had Luke reaching through the Force to bring Kylo back, and Luke involved in the redemption of his nephew. Now, Luke 2 times redeeming his family for the love and his use of the Force. Awesome. I love it, Brandon. I love it. Oh, that's what we want to do here. We're thinking about ways that this could have been great. There's my friend Vader's Lair. Says, okay, I know what I'd change. Take the entire Canto Bite stuff, dramatic pause, and throw it in the trash. Yeah, that's what I was sort of alluding to, right? The Canto Bite stuff. You could have had them go get this code breaker, but it could have been a slicer. So they go to Canto Bite to get a slicer. The slicer comes in to plant the bug in the First Order's code so they can get away and they can't track them, right? You could have done that. That could have been, it still plays out the same. Or you get rid of the Canto Bite stuff entirely, as my friend's saying, right? As Shiva's saying, you get rid of the thing entirely and you replace it with that flashback I was talking about with the 3, Han, Luke, Leia, talking to Ben as he's a teenager, and you have this story arc as Ben is being influenced by Snoke. Could have been great. Could have been great, or at least better, right? Yeah. Well, look, that ship sailed. That was always my sequel trilogy when I was growing up, right? Heir to the Empire. Let's see. Thrawn. Everyone wants to see me. Well, of course, Thrawn. You're one of my favorite characters of all time in Star Wars. Do you think we'll still get a droid story that was announced? Oh, Joshua, I know that Anthony Daniels released some of that stuff. And, with Star Wars, no one is truly dead. I would say the same about their projects. None of them are truly dead. But will anybody actually move that thing forward? Good question. Maybe we'll get an announcement at Celebration. Let's bring that up again after Celebration. See if they give us an update on Droid Story. I would love it. Do I think they'll do it? I don't know. Boy, I'd love it. Going through the Ascendancy trilogy again. Oh, can't beat it. Those Thrawn trilogies, so good. Working on a theory that has long in the making, involves those books. Hopefully Dave doesn't want to pretend they don't exist. I'm with you, Vader's Lair. I'm with you 100%. You'll feel me for the last time, autocorrect. No, do not anger Sheev, right? Don't do it. It doesn't go well. The holiday special is more fulfilling than any Canto Bite stuff. Ooh, shots fired. Canto Bite feels like a waste of time. It is and it isn't, right? When you're looking at trimming content for the movie, and you have 3 lessons, but you got to cut the 3rd one because you don't have enough time. So he gets 2 lessons when he said, I'll give you 3 lessons. How about this? How about you do 3 lessons and you cut back on the Canto Bite. just throw that out there. And don't get me wrong, I love The Last Jedi. Do you think we could get more animated Clone Wars arcs? I don't know how to answer this. No. I'll answer it no. Clone Wars is over. We saw the Clone Wars animated series. The Clone Wars is over as far as that goes. Order 66 started at the end of the Clone Wars animated series. We saw then the Bad Batch in the post-Clone Wars era. I think we have a post-Clone Wars period of time where we could have some Clone Wars follow-up. So we still got a lot of those clone soldiers, right? Rex and all of our favorites, right? Between there and Rebels, right? Rebels, Rex is still around. We have a time period between the end of Bad Batch and Rebels that fills in, and even a little between Rebels and A New Hope. You could follow the story of these particular clones through there, including, by the way, Omega, right? There's some story to be told there. Are they going to go directly to that? I'm not sure. Maybe. They have set up for an Heir to the Empire trilogy right now. They sort of have. They sort of. I always worry about it, though, because those of us who love the Heir to the Empire series, when they go and they remake the stories and they borrow story points, which is what George did all the time. They borrow story points and they tell a different story than the first story, but they steal some of the same stuff. It makes some people grumpy. No, right? It makes them really grumpy. I'm just not so sure they'll do that, but I think that we may see it told in a manner. I just don't think they're gonna. Who would you like to see take over Kathleen Kennedy's position once she steps down? I'm glad you asked this question, Joshua, because I think some clarification, and maybe I've mentioned this to you all before. What we should think of with this Kathleen Kennedy retirement announcement is not a retirement at all. She's simply stepping down as CEO to stay on at Lucasfilm as an executive producer at Lucasfilm with Star Wars and other things. Kathleen Kennedy will remain active in the Lucasfilm family for some time to come, as she says, indefinite. However, her tenure term as CEO is coming to its end in the next year, let's say. At which point we'll have a new CEO. However, Kathleen Kennedy still will be very active with executive producing, Dave and all of that, John. Who would I like to see come in to be the next CEO of Lucasfilm? That's a really hard thing to answer because I don't want to lose Dave in his creative role, but maybe Dave, maybe bring in somebody else entirely. And there have been other names thrown out there, not but similar to, like, say a James Gunn or somebody like that. Rian Johnson. No. Oh, don't shoot me. I'm kidding. Currently re-listening to Heir of the Empire trilogy on book 2. Mumbo Jimbo. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says lots of things I'd change in the sequel trilogy. Make the conversation between Poe and Hux more serious in the beginning of Last Jedi. No Luke lightsaber toss. No Canto bite. There you go. It doesn't necessarily change the story. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Thank you so much for that. Would you like to see live action Clone Wars with Hayden? I don't want to see him keep rehashing the same stories. That was great, though, in Ahsoka, the flashback with young Ahsoka, the Clone Wars, Hayden live action. I simply don't see it in the budget to do a live action series where you have to do so much de-aging and so many special effects. We already discussed how live action series are really tough to make their money back, to justify the expense, and you're going to raise the expense by having built-in effects to do de-aging, especially if you're going to do it with Hayden, right? So would I like to see it? Yeah, I think it was really good to see like young Ahsoka. It was a young girl in war. Like that's a big like it hits you different than seeing an animated figure that's a young girl. But I just don't think it's in the cards, Joshua. Good question. Really hoping a good animated series is announced. Oh, me too. Oh, I've heard some things. Of course, there's the shorts, right? Like Visions, Tales of, and even specials, say like Lego Star Wars animated stuff, right? All of those are great, and I love them all. I love them all. But how about a new series? Like the Bad Batch has been gone for a hot minute now. What's the next one? And when is it placed? Many of us, at least myself, would love to see it placed after Return of the Jedi, especially while Mark Hamill can voice Luke Skywalker in an animated series. And you've got that time period between the last Return of the Jedi and Mandalorian. That's 5 years. Plus, you've got the time period between Mandalorian and The Force Awakens, another 15 years. Right, you've got a 20-year period in there that you could put an animated series to allow this story of Luke, Han, Leia, Chewie, and young Ben growing up, and all of that could be told. Oh, I don't see how you beat it. I think, however, they're not done exploring the period of time when we have the peak Vader. Right? I haven't really seen much. We don't have much. We have lots of books, right? Don't get me wrong. I know books, comics. We got tons of stuff. Peak Vader. We don't have a lot on animated live action movies, anything of peak Vader, right? We get a little bit, but not much. And I was talking to a guy that worked on our house, did some reno on our house and all that. And he's dying to see peak Vader. I think that maybe we'll get something in that animated from that time period. The epic. Thrawn, the end of the Mando-Grogu movie is going to be telling as to the direction that Lucasfilm wants to go. I already know the end of it. I know the end of the movie. Let me see. I don't know what you want me to, what I can answer, right? What do you mean by it's going to be telling? Maybe I'll ask you to ask a more specific question, knowing that I know the ending. I absolutely know the ending of the movie. Ask me a better question or more pointed question, right? Ask me something about that. Now that you know, of course, with Ashley as Ahsoka, that would be awesome, and glad they touched on him that way. Well, they're not going to do Ashley Eckstein, but they could use what's that young girl's name that was Ahsoka? I know her name. It just lost it. Could you see Disney bring back George Lucas for a future project to try to please the fans? Joshua, we got a problem. George is old, really old, and George is not really interested in working a full-time position like that. We already know Dave works or talks to George on a regular basis, and we've seen videos and images of George being on set for episodes of Ahsoka and Mandalorian and things like that. Could they bring back George for a project? It would have to be a bit of a hybrid role. Like maybe he's there to help guide the entire series as an executive producer, 100%. Like I think George could come in. You get somebody else directing, somebody else, doing the day-to-day, the grunt work, and have George executive producing on it. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Oh, I'm for it, right? I don't discriminate when it comes to who wants to fight for me, right? Let's see. Well, Thrawn, if you must know, I don't think your intentions are bad. Yes, I don't think Thrawn's intentions are bad either. I think you're worried about the risk, though. Yeah, Yeah, I'm anxious to see where they go with that. I would love in Ahsoka season 2, and then leading into Dave's movie. Right, this movie, the Mando-Grogu movie, is John's movie. Think of it that way. John's movie, Dave's movie, which hasn't even started being written. I mean, other than maybe on some napkins, etched in the corners of scrap paper here and there. Dave may have an outline of coming together of what he's thinking, but the true writing on that movie hasn't even got started in earnest. But Dave's movie, I would love to see the end of Ahsoka season 2. Thrawn still worried about these Grisk, because you go back to those books, those tremendous books, and that his motivation through the entire thing, and even overlapping with Rebels. There's part of the Thrawn novels that overlap with Rebels, where Timothy Zahn was talking with Dave and making his books line up to the series, and you can see where they overlap. You got to kind of do some homework, but it's there. It's the Grisk right up into Rebels. The Grisk are still right there. I mean, right there. The point where what's her name? Forget. I'm having trouble with names today, folks. Almost had it again. The general lady, bad guy, causes Thrawn lots of trouble. She even there's an overlap. So Tales of the Jedi, maybe Tales of the Sith. I think we got some more of that coming for sure. Okay, join our Discord. Appreciate that. There's the Discord link right there. The Grisk, I worry about like Houthis in the Red Sea. Very good. Hey, have a great weekend, Fitz. Appreciate it. Would you like to see Disney expand Galaxy's Edge? Yes. Look, me personally, I'm fine with them just, redoing all of Epcot, but they're not going to do that. Or just take Epcot and recreate another one, except make the ball, the Death Star, make each of the worlds different place. Sure. But then there is space to expand Galaxy's Edge at Disney World in Florida. But yeah. Would love to see a series with Han. Well, look, we haven't even got to Rise of Skywalker yet. You guys, Ariana Greenblatt, that's it. George is happy with his family. Yes, exactly. Let's see if I can get caught up. George could help with a microbiotic world. Dive into this film. Okay, so let me see if I can get caught up. Is it with their? No, I think they could reboot. The only thing that I'm aware of that's still affecting them from that agreement with George is not releasing the original movie theatrical releases of the original trilogy. He's kind of holding on to that thing. Let's see if I gotta get caught up, because we got to talk about the Rise of Skywalker. And let's talk about the Rise of Skywalker. What would we change in the Rise of Skywalker? Doesn't change the movie, makes it better. I'll tell you mine. You tell me yours, right? Mine is simply, instead of the cloning vats of Snoke's, don't need it. Don't need the cloning vats of Snoke's. We need cloning vats of Rey. And the reason I say, you go back to the cave scene, the mirror scene with Rey in Last Jedi, and she does the snapping, and you see the echoing, and she comes up to the thing. She wants to see who her parents are. And she says, show me my parents. And she touches it, and it opens up, and she sees what? Herself. You know why? Because she's a clone. There is no parent from that perspective. You can have all these vats of arrays in various cloning, whatever. The dark Rey that she runs into in the ruins isn't necessarily like a dark cave vision, like they were trying to do with, how Luke had the dark cave vision of Vader and slashes open his mask and it's him. They sort of tried to do that in TROS with Rey being in a dark cave scenario, meeting the dark version of herself. Have it be a clone, her sister. Have it be a sister. And in that case, she's actually having a duel with another dark side user, herself, in a literal form instead of a vision form. And then this Snoke is just Snoke, right? He's not a clone of himself or of whatever. He's not this, what do they call it, a strand cast, right? It's just all these Reys. And you could have tons and tons of Reys that were not Force sensitive and just Palpatine's just dispatching them, right? And dark side Rey is a Force sensitive, however, not strong enough, right? So put her on a 1 to 10 scale. Maybe she's a 4.5, and you got Palpatine up there at a 10 plus. He's at a 15, right? He doesn't want to go down to 4.5. So, but Rey, back when we see in Force Awakens, when she has a vision of her parents dropping her off with Unkar Plutt, those are just workers for the rebellion or for the new Republic or Resistance, who were able to get this clone from Snoke, maybe even on Exegol, wherever the facility is, and rescue her, bring her out of that situation and hide her away. And so they take her to Unkar Plutt because that's it's the middle of nowhere. It's nobody. And she could be a nobody there, but she's, we've seen your shrine. No, I'm not saying Rey. I'm saying dark side Rey, like a 4.5. But this young girl Rey, she's like a 10, right? The 1 to 10 scale in Force sensitivity, she's a 10. Again, she can be like a 15, but let's say she's a 10. Dark side Rey is like a 4.5 on Force sensitivity. Still has the fight with her, defeats her. Rey defeats Dark Rey, but a physical Dark Rey, and there's still this desire to get Rey because she has the Force sensitivity for Sheev to continue, right? So that's what I'm saying. Had you done that instead, the story still plays out the same, except you don't have Snoke clones, you have Rey clones, and Rey being Rey nobody at the end. So all along they've been saying, "Who are you?" "I'm Rey." "Rey who?" "Rey nobody." And you can tell she's sort of bothered by that, right? That's a burden she carries, being Rey nobody. But in Rise of Skywalker, once she gets through the whole thing, and the old lady says, "Who are you?" She says, "Rey." And then Luke and Leia are there, and they're like, "Yeah, go for it." And then she said, "I'm Rey Skywalker." No, you don't need that, right? So there's the other thing you change. At the end, when the lady says, "Who are you?" say, "I'm Rey." "Rey who?" "I'm Rey nobody. I'm just Rey." Be happy with it. You can still have Force Ghost Luke and Leia. If Luke is dead by then, better yet, he's still alive. But if he's even dead by then, you've got maybe Force Ghost Leia back there, and Luke and Rey at the end of the movie. How cool would that be? That'd be great, right? You could have had Luke take Rey back to Tatooine, to where he grew up, to do this lightsaber burial of his sister's lightsaber. And they could have been there, and they could have buried Leia's lightsaber together. Could have been great. They didn't do it. That's it for me. Dark Rey, with all her powers, will be the villain in Deadpool Wolverine. It's easier, mumbo jumbo, more seductive. So there you go. Those are my changes. I don't really change the outcomes of the movies. but I think they're more palatable when you've got Han and Leia still in love, still married. Luke survives all the way through. I have no problem with him surviving all the way through, even at the end of Last Jedi when he force projects himself to Leia. And of course, Leia has to, because Carrie, we lost her. And at the end, you could have Luke being the old, wise Jedi to continue teaching Rey. He could have been the hero in Rise of Skywalker, fighting alongside Rey. He could have been involved with the redemption of Kylo. People would have a much better receptivity to Luke being the Redeemer, Luke being the wise Jedi Master. Could have been great. Could have been great. Hey, there's our good friend Anthony. Hello, Santa. You've seen both movie groups. Which one do you feel is more divisive in terms of Star Wars fandom, prequels or the sequels? Oh, Anthony. Different eras. Different eras. The sequels or the prequels are remembered more fondly than they were at the time. Prequels were, at least by fans my age, despised, hated. Like the Star Wars is dead to them, right? George Lucas is dead to them. Right? They're like, no, I'm not having any more of that. I've still got my original trilogy, but the prequels are garbage. They're trash. Right? That existed. We just didn't have social media exist the way that it exists now. And so when you talk about being divisive as far as the fandom, I think the sequels have been more divisive only from the reach of the social media platforms. But the fandom was already fractured, and you still had OT versus PT kind of fans still saying you guys aren't real fans, like that kind of nonsense. Right? That nonsense has been there for a very long time. So yeah, Skywalker's Academy is exactly right. Expectations lead to disappointment. Right? Let the movies play out. Let them come to you. Right? It's all the same. Misconceptions and disillusionment. That's right. That's it. All right, guys. Hey, we've gone long. I've enjoyed talking with you all, spending time together. Appreciate you all being here. I hope you have a blessed day, wonderful weekend. We have a Mike Porter dad joke, and there's a bonus. So if you're still here, please do the liking and the things that you're supposed to do, the liking, the sharing, all of that. You've been great. You guys have been wonderful. I've had a great time. But we have a great Mike Porter dad joke and a bonus question at the end. The question, the Mike Porter dad joke says, what did Princess Leia say to the loose strands of heavy twine? She got some loose strands of heavy twine laying about. She says, get together and help me. You're my only rope. Oh my goodness. You're my only rope. Of course, that's what she said. Bonus question for all of you. What's the name of the rope? In the original trilogy, it says, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Well, help me. You're my only rope. Help me who? What's the rope's name? What would you say? What would you say? John Campia says, it's best you can lead speculation become expectation. Yeah, speculation leading to expectation can be the dangerous part. Yeah, absolutely. Almost 90 minutes. I know, we've gone along. What if my crew was Mara, Rey, Deidre, the girlfriend? Oh, interesting. Dark Rey, and Deidre. Ooh, what a crew! What a crew! We'll see you, Brandon. Thanks for being here. Dawn, thank you. Bye. Gotta go. All right. What's the name of the rope? What's the name of the rope? Well, Mike Porter, he gave the rope a name, right? The rope's named Twine. Help me. She says, Mike Porter says, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only rope. So there you go. There's Mike Porter's version. I appreciate it, you guys. Mike Porter, the chosen pun. Appreciate all your support, Mike. Thank you all for being here. Again, have a wonderful day. Fantastic weekend. And we'll look forward to seeing you all here next week. Until then, my friends, ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. And may the force be with you always. Bye-bye.